Hello students, now we are going to see about critical path analysis. It is otherwise called as critical path method. The acronym is CPM. Now what is the purpose of CPM? That is actually to find the sequence of activities with the longest duration and to find the float associated with each non-critical activity. Now, when you are just going through this particular line, the word float and also the word non-critical activity seems to be a little new. So once again, if I'm just reading the purpose of CPM is to find the sequence of activities so that has the longest duration. So accomplishment of the activities with the longest duration with the aim of finding the float associated with each non-critical activity. So now the words float, non-critical activity seems to be a little new to us. Now we'll see what is the meaning of float, critical activity and non-critical activity to have a better understanding on the purpose of CPM. Float of each activity. So it is a spare time associated with each activity. So what is the spare time? Suppose if a project is going to take 7 hours of completion and you are telling that even it may take actually 2 hours before it could be completed. So I can say the 2 hours to be the spare time associated with each activity. So the amount of time by which it is possible to delay its completion time without affecting the total project completion time. So float of each activity refers to the time period by which one particular activity can be delayed, but then it will not affect the total project completion time. So that you call it as the float of each activity. And what about the critical activity? See, critical activity and non-critical activity. Certain activities, if it is being start delayed, it will definitely affect the project completion time. So whichever activities are very critical is to be those activities which will affect the project completion time if the start of those activities are getting disturbed. So then what will be the non-critical activity? An activity which is not a critical will be definitely a non-critical. It means that the activity, even if it is start delayedly, will not affect the project completion time. So advanced, it can be start earlier. Delayed, it can be delayed means it can start maybe after the actual time it is supposed to get started. So now these are something about the critical and non-critical activity. Now what do you want to say something about the earliest occurrence, latest occurrence, duration of the activity? See, suppose you take an activity that takes place between the two events 1 and 2. Now one event and the second event are represented by the nodes in a circular representation. The Tij, it represents the time duration of an activity to take place between the events 1 and 2. Now what is that EI? The earliest occurrence. So when an event can be advanced, by how much time it can get advanced and how much time it can get delayed. So that is the earliest and latest. So for each and every event, we can calculate the earliest occurrence as well as the latest occurrence. You just imagine a situation. Suppose you are telling that you want to start a program. Now you may ask them, yes, you may start the program either advancing or delaying it. But it will not affect the entire completion of the sequences, what's being scheduled on the entire day, by just modifying one particular program. So this is all about the activity which takes place between the event 1 and 2. Now what about the critical path? So the critical activities of a network which constitute an uninterrupted path which spans the entire network from start to finish, you call that as a critical path. So here the critical path will be comprising of the critical activities. So whenever I say a critical activity, definitely those critical activity will be having the long duration and without an interruption. They will not be getting interrupted. So from the start of the particular project till the end of it, you will be able to find a critical path. And those critical path will encompass the critical activities of a network. Now float of an activity and event. So you'll be having event float and activity float. Now what is that event float is? It is a float subjected to an event. Activity float will be the float subjected to an activity. So here the float, in the sense I was just telling something about the start time. So event to float will be the difference between the latest as well as the earliest occurrence. Now activity float have been classified into three types. One will be the total float, another one will be free float, another one will be the independent float. So the first one is total float. So here it is the amount of time by which an activity can be delayed. So the entire span time is nothing but the delayed of an activity will not delay the project completion time. So there is no problem of delaying it. Now when it comes to the free float and independent float are forming the portion or a part of the total float. So here free float, it is again subjected to an activity. It will not disturb the subsequent, that's the following activities will not get disturbed. When it comes to an independent float, we call the type of a float as an independent when that is not disturbing the preceding, that is the before activities. So these are the three kinds of float and how to estimate these kinds of floats for an activity with a given data. So now it's very simple. Now we are going to look onto this one. Here I am just going to say your node 1 and node 2. You have E1 L1 and E2 L2, the time period. And we have the formula to calculate the total float, free float and independent float. So look at this. It's very simple to calculate the total float. So here they are given with the two nodes, 1 and 2. And they have taken it as L1 and L2, E1 and E2. So I have just generalized here with I and J. So I will be the first one and J will be its succeedance. And for the jth node, you can say your ith node will be the preceding one. So with those, you are able to formulate the particular formula over here.